A reading from Deconfliction Don't Be a Statistic. 26694. Respond to assist EMS with a combative white male who has a deep laceration to the foot. Both units copy. It was after 4 p.m. when the call came in. Jason and I were sitting in a parking lot talking, waiting for our shift to end at 6 p.m. When we arrived on scene, EMS was there along with the fire department, and the patient was standing on the front porch yelling at everyone. "I don't need fucking help. Leave me the fuck alone." This is just stupid. The patient was in his late 20s, intoxicated, and bleeding severely from his foot after stepping on a broken bottle. He refused all help. His father, who called 911, indicated his son may be on drugs, just recently was shot, and now had a colostomy bag. Footnote 7. Found out later, a Charleston City Police narcotics officer was conducting surveillance on the patient during the incident. The narco guy told us the patient was a drug dealer and had been shot a few weeks earlier in a drug robbery. All useful information, which would have been nice to know at the start of the incident. The patient would occasionally walk out onto the front porch, yell obscenities at us, telling us to leave him the fuck alone, and then go back into the house. The alcohol in his system was not allowing his blood to clot, so he was bleeding absolutely everywhere. I assumed the contact officer role, and Jason was the cover officer, which was ironic thinking about it later since Jason had extensive negotiator training. I was respectful and politely asked him to allow EMS to look at his foot since he seemed to have lost so much blood. I told the patient his father was concerned for his well-being, as all of us were, and we just wanted him to get help. I want to help this dude, but honestly, I just want him to get in the ambulance so I can go home on time. This scene went on for at least 20 minutes. The patient stood on the front porch, and if we tried to get close, he would run back inside the house. His girlfriend arrived at the house with their daughter, and we asked her if she could try and talk to him into going with EMS. The daughter was 8 to 10 years old. This quickly turned into a huge error. The girlfriend opened the front door with the daughter standing next to her. In an instant, the patient ushered both inside the house and closed the door. Jason and I looked at each other, and he let out a short laugh. Fuck. The situation went from bad to worse. A few minutes later, the patient again opened the door and stood on the porch, yelling at us. But this time, he had a large bandage on his foot. There was so much blood, it would not stay attached even for a second. As he performed this dramatic gesture, his daughter stepped out of the house and stood next to him. He reached down with his hand full of blood and touched her head, guiding her back into the house before slamming the door. We need a different tactic. Footnote 8. The different tactic included Jason standing off to the side, obscured by a bush, with his taser at the ready. Then, instead of pleading with the guy, I unleashed a barrage of insults, calling him the dumbest motherfucker I ever met and daring him to put up or shut up. The idea was to challenge his pride so he would step forward to protect his masculinity. He responded as intended, moving farther toward the edge of the porch and close enough for Jason to emerge from the shadows and deploy his taser. Just prior to being struck with the probes from the taser, the patient pulled his colostomy bag off and attempted to throw it at us. However, Jason was too quick and just dropped the bag on the porch. The patient fell backward like a tree falling in the woods, but then was able to crawl back into the house and tried to shut the door. Jason and I pushed on the door as we stepped around the blood and spilled contents of the colostomy bag. I was able to reach inside the door and, for the first time ever, deployed my taser. The patient eventually complied, and I was able to place handcuffs on him. EMS moved in, hoisted him onto the gurney, and transported him to the hospital.